Hello and welcome to Millennium Sports World. Today we will present local and international sports stories including MMA, golf, tennis, auto race, NFL, NHL, NBA and some more sports news. So let's find out what's waiting in today's sports world. At first, let's have a look on latest MMA stories. Mike Perry, Chad Mendes and Ben Rothwell will return to action at a BKFC card planned for April 29 in Denver. The card also serves as the landing spot for a BKFC women's flyweight title fight as Christian Ferreira takes on Beck Rawlings. BKFC officials confirmed the news to MMA Fighting. As of now, Perry, Mendes and Rothwell await final confirmations on opponents, but their bouts are expected to be announced in the near future. Perry previously teased his return in April, with the promotion promising him a notable opponent after his last win came against Bellator contender Michael Venom Page. They said that I would be back as main event in April, and they haven't released the opponent yet. They said it's going to be a big name, Perry told MMA Fighting. That's the thing about me. They can't just be like, Mike's going to fight in April. We are going to set it down in stone, and when we find out who it's going to be, we are going to call him up and he is going to come out. I am easy. I just want to scrap it out. Meanwhile, Mendes makes his second appearance in the BKFC ring after inking a contract to compete in bare knuckle following the end of his MMA career. While he remains on the UFC roster even in retirement, the promotion gave him permission to fight bare knuckle. UFC flyweight Carlos Mota has been suspended for 2 years after he tested positive for a banned substance following his octagon debut this past October. On Wednesday, the Nevada Athletic Commission handed down the suspension after Mota tested positive for Millennium, an anti-ischemic drug classified among metabolic modulators, following his bout at UFC Vegas 63 this past October. Millennium is banned at all times for athletes in or out of competition. As a result of the positive drug test, Mota received the 2-year suspension and he won't be eligible to compete again until October 29, 2024. He also received a $2,400 fine as well as an additional $448.25 fine to pay for prosecutors' fees. Now, tennis stories. Days after constituting a strong team for the inaugural edition of the Women's Premier League WPL, the Royal Challengers Bangalore have roped in Indian tennis stalwart Sania Mirza as the team's mentor. This comes as an inspirational step by the franchise, which made some sensational buys at the players' auction on February 13. As stated by RCB, Sania is a perfect fit for the team's philosophy. A winner of 6 Grand Slams and 43 WTA titles, her global stature as one of the leading role models for innumerable women prompted the RCB team management to onboard her to motivate and encourage the women's team of RCB, as Sania is someone whom the players can relate and respond to easily in a team environment. It is a pleasure for me to join the RCB women's team as a mentor. Indian women's cricket has seen a tectonic shift with the Women's Premier League, and I am really looking forward to being a part of this revolutionary pitch. RCB and its brand philosophy perfectly resonate with my vision and outlook, as that's how I have approached my playing career, and it's also how I see contributing to sports post my retirement, Sania said on her appointment. Rajesh V. Menon, head and vice president of Royal Challengers Bangalore, said, "We are glad and honored to welcome Sania Mirza as mentor of the RCB women's team. She is the perfect role model, with her success stemming out of her sheer hard work, passion, and determination, despite many challenges in her playing career." Now, latest golf stories. Vanderbilt sophomore Gordon Sargent won his fourth collegiate title at the Height last week, and that victory lifted him to number 1 in the world amateur golf ranking for the first time in his career. By improving 2 spots to number 1, he earned 2 more points in PGA Tour University Accelerated, bringing his total to 12. If he reaches 20 points by the end of his junior season, he will earn PGA Tour membership. As the number 1 player in WAGR, Sargent earns 5 points in PGA Tour University Accelerated. His record also includes representing the United States at the 2022 Palmer Cup and 2022 World Amateur Team Championship, as well as winning the 2022 DI-NCAA Individual Championship and being named the 2022 DI Outstanding Freshman. Stanford junior Michael Thorbjornsen has 13 accelerated points and held steady at number 2 in WAGR, while Texas Tech senior Ludwig Aberg is number 3 in WAGR and remained number 1 in this week's PGA Tour University Velocity Global Ranking. He is the tournament host, a 15-time major champion and, as it turns out, a pretty popular bet at the Genesis Invitational. Tiger Woods is once again in the spotlight this week, making his first official PGA Tour start since the Open in July and his first appearance in a non-major since the 2020 Georgia Championship. Woods opened as a triple-digit long shot at the Riviera Country Club, reaching as high as 15,000 with BetMGM Sportsbook, and it should come as no surprise that casual bettors have spent the last few days lining up to back him at a lofty price. Bets are flying in on Tiger at 15,000, said Tristan Davis, a sports trader at BetMGM. People will be looking for a juicy price for him to make the cut as well. Both markets will likely be big liabilities for us. That flurry of action has already led to a price reduction, as Woods is now listed at 12,500 to win just hours before his opening round tee time alongside Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas. The make or miss cut market remains somewhat lopsided, with Woods a significant minus 225 favorite to miss the cut and a 160 underdog to make it to the weekend against a star-studded field. Now, latest boxing story. Boxers from Britain and the Czech Republic on Tuesday joined a United States-led boycott of the World Championships, deepening a standoff over the International Boxing Association's Russian president and his insistence on letting Russian fighters compete with their country's flag and anthem. British governing body GB Boxing said it would not take part in the Women's World Championships in India next month and that the Men's Championships in May are under review. GB Boxing cited a rift between the IBA and the International Olympic Committee, which has endangered boxing's place on the Olympic program, and the IBA's decision to defy IOC recommendations and allow Russia and its ally Belarus to compete with national symbols, not as neutral athletes. Czech Boxing Association Marek Sima confirmed a boycott in comments to Czech Republic radio, taking the number of teams involved to 4. The US said last week it would boycott and Ireland followed Friday. Now let's have a look on some NFL stories. Buffalo Bills safety Damar Hamlin said Wednesday he never intended to offend anyone for attending the Super Bowl wearing a jacket that critics deemed to feature an offensive depiction of Jesus. After talking with my parents, I understand how my coat could have offended some people, Hamlin wrote in a note posted on his Twitter account. It was never my intentions to hurt or disrespect anyone. The coat is abstract art to me. Hamlin closed his two-post thread by saying he will continue to learn from the situation while adding, "My beliefs and relationship with God is not tied to symbolic images." The second-year player continues recovering after having to be resuscitated on the field after going into cardiac arrest during a game in Cincinnati 6 weeks ago created a stir for being pictured wearing a Kanye West Eternal Saint blue varsity jacket during pre-game ceremonies and sitting in NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell's box at the Super Bowl in Arizona on Sunday. The Chicago Bears on Wednesday bought the property that they have been sizing up for a new enclosed stadium in suburban Arlington Heights. The Bears announced that they paid $197.2 million for the 326-acre plot. The team cautioned, however, that the purchase doesn't mean plans for a new stadium and an entertainment district will come to fruition. There is still a tremendous amount of due diligence work to be done to determine if constructing an enclosed state-of-the-art stadium and multi-purpose entertainment district is feasible, the Bears said in a statement. Soldier Field on Chicago's lakefront has been the Bears' home since 1971. The team played at Wrigley Field from 1921 to 1970. And if a new stadium is constructed, the franchise would have its name on the mortgage for the first time since arriving in Chicago. Economic analysts have said building a Bears entertainment district would create more than 48,000 jobs and generate $9.4 billion for the local economy. The Baltimore Ravens re-signed defensive end Brent Urban and cornerback Darryl Earley. The Ravens announced the moves Wednesday. The 31-year-old Urban played 16 games for Baltimore last season, finishing with 1 sack. He spent his first 4 NFL seasons with the Ravens and played for the Cowboys, Bears, and Titans before rejoining Baltimore last year. Earley, who turns 28 next week, appeared in 8 games last season, including 1 start. He has played 7 NFL seasons, spending time with the Panthers, Raiders, Cowboys, Bills, Lions, and Ravens. The Carolina Panthers have hired Parks Frazier as their passing game coordinator. The 31-year-old Frazier was part of Frank Reich's staff with the Indianapolis Colts since 2018, where he served as assistant quarterbacks coach. The Panthers also announced they have retained special teams coordinator Chris Tabor, offensive line coach James Camden, and assistant offensive line coach Robert Kugler, and hired Jonathan Cooley as their secondary or cornerbacks coach. Cooley previously worked with recently hired Panthers defensive coordinator Ejiro Evero when he was with the Los Angeles Rams. The Panthers have filled the majority of their coaching positions with the exception of offensive coordinator. The New Orleans Saints hired Joe Woods as defensive coordinator and Todd Grantham as defensive line coach Wednesday. Saints coach Dennis Allen also added secondary coach Marcus Robertson, tight ends coach Clancy Barron, and assistant offensive line coach Kevin Carberry. Woods spent the past 3 seasons as the Cleveland Browns defensive coordinator and has spent the past 19 years of his career coaching in the NFL, including 5 as a coordinator. In New Orleans, he joins a unit already overseen and called during games by Allen, who is entering his 2nd season as Saints head coach after serving 6+ seasons as defensive coordinator under his predecessor Sean Payton. Fox was hoping the matchup of 2 top teams in the Super Bowl and a close game would lead to a record night. Even though Sunday's game between the Kansas City Chiefs and Philadelphia Eagles came down to a field goal with 8 seconds remaining, Fox fell just short of its goal. The Chiefs' rally to defeat the Eagles 38-35 was the 3rd most watched television show in history, with an average of 113.1 million people watching, according to final numbers released by Nielsen. The total includes the broadcast on Fox and Fox Deportes, as well as streaming on Fox and the NFL's digital sites. The figures are via Nielsen and Adobe Analytics. The 2015 game between New England and Seattle on NBC holds the record at 114,442,000 viewers, which is not including streaming, followed by Super Bowl 51 in 2017 on Fox between Atlanta and New England, which was 130,668,000. This was Fox's 10th Super Bowl since it began airing NFL games in 1994 and the second most watched program in Fox Sports history. Now, latest NBA story. Six-time NBA champion Michael Jordan was celebrating his 60th birthday on Friday by making a $10 million donation to Make-A-Wish. It is the largest donation ever received from an individual in the organization's 43-year history. Jordan's hope is that his decision to celebrate his birthday by donating to Make-A-Wish will inspire others to help fulfill the wishes of the kids still waiting for their wishes to come true. For the past 34 years, it's been an honor to partner with Make-A-Wish and help bring a smile and a happiness to so many kids, Jordan said in a news release. Witnessing their strength and resilience during such a tough time in their lives has truly been an inspiration. Jordan, now the owner of the NBA's Charlotte Hornets, first supported Make-A-Wish in 1989. He has granted hundreds of wishes to children all over the world and remains one of the most requested celebrity wish granters. He was named Make-A-Wish Chief Wish Ambassador in 2008 for what the organization called the life-changing impacts he has had on wish kids and their families. Now, latest NHL story. Washington Capitals captain Alex Ovechkin says his father, Mikhail, has died at age 71. Ovechkin delivered the news on social media along with family photos and video. Today, my father passed away, Ovechkin posted in Russian on his Instagram account. I thank everyone for their support but ask that you be understanding and not disturb my family at such a hard time for us. Thank you. Ovechkin left the Capitals on Tuesday to tend to what the team called a family health matter regarding a loved one. Coach Peter Laviolette said he expected Ovechkin to be gone for at least the rest of the week and away for the foreseeable future. Ovechkin's father had not been in Washington in recent years while dealing with health issues at home in Moscow. Before that, Mikhail was a familiar face at the Capitals' practice facility and at games watching his son. Defenseman Mikey Anderson signed an 8-year contract extension with the Los Angeles Kings on Wednesday. The extension, which lasts through the 2030-31 season, has an average annual value of $4.125 million. Anderson has appeared in all 55 games for the Kings this season and has career highs in assists, points and plus-minus while averaging 21 minutes 49 seconds on ice per game. We are excited to have a player of Mikey Anderson's caliber signed to the Kings long-term, Kings Vice President and General Manager Rob Blake said in a statement. Mikey has not only developed into a trusted shutdown player on the ice, but a well-respected individual in the room that we envision continuing to grow into our leadership core. Anderson was a fourth-round selection by the Kings in the 2017 draft. After 2 seasons of playing collegiately at Minnesota Duluth, he made his NHL debut with the Kings on February 29, 2020. Let's have a look on some MLB stories. Japan's Oryx Buffaloes have announced the signing of Marwin Gonzalez, who played last season with the New York Yankees. Gonzalez is an infielder and outfielder who has played for 5 teams in Major League Baseball. In addition to the Yankees, he played for Houston, Minnesota and Boston. He came up in the Chicago Cubs organization. The Buffaloes did not provide any contract numbers or other details. Gonzalez, a Venezuelan, will wear number 8 with the Japanese club team. Left-handed reliever Andrew Chafin and the Arizona Diamondbacks finalized $6.25 million one-year contract on Wednesday. Chafin gets $5.5 million this year and the Diamondbacks have a $7.25 million option for 2024 with a $750,000 buyout. Chafin could earn $1 million in performance bonuses for pitching appearances, $250,000 each for 55, 60, 65 and 70. He would get a $250,000 assignment bonus if traded. Chaffin returned to Arizona after spending his first 7 seasons with the D-backs from 2014 to 20. He was 2-3 with 3 saves and a 2.83 ERA in 64 appearances and 57 and one-third innings last year, striking out 67 and walking 19. Chaffin has 375 mound appearances since 2017, most among major league relievers. Now latest auto race news. Alex Bowman admired yet another Daytona 500 pole trophy that he owned from mastering the super speedway over one first lap ahead of NASCAR's Mercedes. The Hendrick Motorsports driver still wants to add to his Daytona collection. There is a championship trophy missing. It may not be the big one, Bowman said, but it's not a bad one to have. Bowman and Kyle Larson turned Daytona 500 qualifying into another Hendrick Motorsports run. Bowman posted the top speed in his number 48 Chevrolet at Daytona International Speedway and won his third career pole for the race. He will be joined by Larson in the number 5 Chevrolet on the front row for NASCAR's season opener. The Hendrick dominance is a recurring theme at Daytona. They have got something figured out, for sure, Larson said. There is obviously tricks they have learned along the way that still apply to these cars. Bowman, who missed 5 races late last season because of a concussion, is on the Daytona 500 front row for the 6th straight time, and the organization has produced a pole winner in 8 of the last 9 years. Now, trending soccer news. A Las Vegas lawyer has been hit with a $335,000 penalty for pressing a bid in US courts to force Cristiano Ronaldo to pay millions of dollars, more than the $375,000 in hush money he paid to a Nevada woman who claimed the international soccer star raped her in Las Vegas in 2009. I find that Ronaldo would not have incurred a majority of the fees and costs that he spent on this litigation absent plaintiff's counsel's bad faith, U.S. District Judge Jennifer Dorsey said in a scathing 18-page ruling. The judge in Las Vegas held plaintiff Catherine Mayorga's attorney Leslie Mark Stovall personally responsible for paying Ronaldo's attorneys, led by Peter Christiansen and Kendall Works. Stovall and associates in the case, Ross Moynihan and Larissa Draho-Bigzer, did not immediately respond to email and telephone messages about the ruling issued. In a related case, a Nevada state court judge who nearly made long-sealed and long-filed documents public by mistake in August rejected Stovall's bid for a court order to unseal crucial documents, including a Las Vegas police report about Mayorga's rape complaint against Ronaldo. Canada women's national team coach Bev Priestman says the dispute between her players and the Canadian Federation is weighing on the team as it prepared for its opening match of the She Believes Cup against the United States on Thursday. The Canadian players say there have been drastic cuts to the program ahead of this summer's Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. Late last week, the women announced they wouldn't participate in team activities and skipped practice on Saturday. But the federation maintained it was an illegal strike and the players reluctantly returned to training. Canada played the US women on Thursday night at Exploria Stadium in Orlando, Florida, to open the round-robin She Believes Cup. Japan and Brazil also are taking part in the tournament, which visits 3 US cities. That's all in today's sports world. Keep watching Millennium Sports World for latest sports updates. Millennium TV USA and Millennium News 24 network is transmitted and available to be watched free for all at TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV. And also in all European countries and Australia available with the Sky Network, Worldwide Jago TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jago BD Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with us for all types of informative and entertainment programs. Thank you.